All right, hello. So here we are for our second note page for the week. These are our 4 practice problems. So in the very first one here, we have a cone. We know that because it has a circular base. So remember that the volume of a cone, as we just discussed, is 1/3 times pi times radius squared times the height. So there is our formula. We have to make sure that we know what the radius is and that we know what the height is. Those are our 2 variables in this formula. So here we have our cone. We can clearly tell the radius here is marked as 1 meter. And the height, it is the perpendicular height, which means it forms a right angle with that base, which is what we want. It is given on the outside of the figure here because our figure, you can see, is sort of slanted. It's oblique. But it is still 2 meters. So this is an example of where the height might be given on the outside. So we are going to substitute these numbers into our formula. So we have volume equals 1/3 times pi times radius squared. That radius was 1, so I'm going to put that 1 in parentheses because I just want to square the radius. And then times the height, which was 2. And we will talk about units at the end. So let's go ahead and simplify. I can square that 1, and I can also multiply that times the 2 here on the end. So 1 squared is just 1, times 2 is just 2. And this is all multiplication, so I can go one step further. I have 1/3 times pi times 2. Well, I know 1/3 times 2 would be 2/3, and I still have times pi. And so that's pretty much as simplified as we'll go. You could get the decimal approximation if you want to use the pi button on your calculator, or you can just leave it in terms of pi, that's fine. But we definitely need units. So don't forget, first of all, this problem is measured in meters, so add your meters. And then do not forget we need meters cubed because this is volume. Remember, so last week we talked about how area and surface area are in units squared, and volume is in units cubed. So I'm going to copy this down for our answer, 2/3 pi meters cubed. And there you have it. So let's move on to the second one. Directly across, we now have a pyramid. So this one happens to be a square pyramid, as the base is a square here. So let's first of all start with the formula. We have 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. So our 2 variables that we have to make sure we have are capital B for area of the base and height. So just making that look like an equal sign. There we go. So here in this pyramid, we have a square base. And this is what it looks like right here. We know it's a square because all 4 sides have these little tick marks, and one of them is labeled as 10. So what I need to now do to get the area of this base is I'm going to do 10 times 10, side times side, to get my area of this square. And we know that's going to be 100 centimeters. And then the height is also given to us, and we can see that's 12 centimeters. So I have my 2 things that I need. I'm going to go back to my formula and plug these guys in. So we have 1/3 times the area of that base we said was 100, times the height we said was 12. And let's simplify and then add our units. So 100 times 12, that's going to give us 1,200. Stick that in parentheses because we're still multiplying. And then I can go one step further. We know what that is. 1/3 times 1,200. In other words, we could take 1,200 divided by 3. And so 12 divided by 3 would be 4. And then we can add our 2 zeros. So we get 400. And then we need centimeters cubed. So that will be our answer for number 2. Volume equals 400 centimeters cubed. Right, I will do the last 2 in the next video.